Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'd like to share with you my top 6, my favorite 6 jerkbaits to fish in the spring of the year. So now the ice is coming off, the water is in the low to mid 40s, and if the water's clear enough, there's no better time to throw a jerkbait, especially one that suspends or slowly sinks or slowly rises. So I'm going to give you 6 of my favorites for those conditions. So these are not high floaters. These are all suspenders. Ones that sink very slowly are ones that dive down and rise extremely slowly. And you can adjust these by adding weight, changing the size of the hooks, that kind of thing. But let's get started. So the first one, and it's one that won't surprise anybody, is the Vision 110, the Megabass Vision 110. This bait, you just have to include it. It's an incredible bait, comes in incredible colors, and I'll list in the description of the video what the baits are and some of my favorite colors, because I don't know all the names of the colors of these baits. Some of them I know, some of them I don't, but I'll list it in the description for you. So here's a good perch pattern, nice shad pattern here, and you'll get some bonuses with these too, because there's related baits to these, right? This is the Vision 110, but they also have the Vision 110 plus 1, which is another great bait. It just goes deeper, but it's another very good bait. And along with that, the plus 1 Junior. I really like this bait quite a bit too. Okay, the next one I'd like to share with you is the Lucky Craft Pointer 100. This bait, I really like this bait. I actually think I like throwing this bait as much as any of the others. And the reason for that is, for me, it seems to catch the biggest bass, both largemouth and smallmouth. I've thrown these jerkbaits a lot. And year after year, day in and day out, these are the ones that catch the biggest fish for me, the biggest bass. This is called Misty Shad. That's a real nice color. Ghost Minnow, good natural color here. This is like a bone color that I've done well on, especially if the water's a little bit off color. But the Pointer 100 is a very good bait. The Pointer 78, the 78 millimeter size, is also a good jerk bait as well that I like to throw. But that 100, it catches big fish. All right, continuing on, let's go to one that you probably might not be aware of, or that may surprise you. This is a smaller jerk bait. It's the Owner Cultiva Suspending jerk bait. I have 3 of them here. This is like an IU color. This is a baby bass. And then I have one in like an alewife or baitfish pattern here. These things are smaller, so you need, either a spinning rod or bait finesse to throw them. But boy, do they catch fish. They just have a really good action to them. Smallmouths love them. You can make this thing, you can jerk this thing in such a way where it actually turn around and face the fish. Sometimes that really ticks them off. And so this one is one of my favorites, and I don't hear much about it. I don't think a lot of people fish it, but it sure does catch fish. The Owner Cultiva Suspender. Can't talk about jerkbaits without mentioning this one. This is a really bright one. This is the Rapala X-Rap. Here's a little bass pattern, nice little shad pattern here. Table rock shad color here. These things, they are smallmouth killers specifically. The smallmouths go nuts for these. I like to throw these when the water gets a little warmer, when the fish get a little more active and they really chase, because I like to fish this rather aggressively. I won't have long pauses between the twitches. But man, when those fish get active, it's hard to beat the Rapala X-Rap. Going to old school here with the Smithwick Suspending Rogue. Here's a good shad pattern, a clown pattern here. It's a big bait, a long bait, the Suspending Smithwick Rogue. This thing catches fish. It caught them back in the day, and it still catches them today. Sometimes I'll add a little weight to make them suspend a little bit better, or to get them down a little more. But if you can get them down to where the fish are, these guys still catch them as good as they ever did. And last but not least, I like the deep diving shadow wrap. This is the Rapala Shadow Wrap. Here's some different colors here that you can see. Nice perch pattern here. It's got that little bit of a longer lip. These are meant to dive deeper down and then slowly rise. But if you change the hooks or add a little weight, you can have them suspend as well. And these catch fish when the water's cold. This is a good cold water bait. They're a little more subtle in their action. You can get them to work real well. You can get them down a little more because they got that little bit of a longer lip. They have a really nice shad shape to them, and they just catch fish. They're a good fish catcher, and I enjoy fishing the shadow wrap. Now the standard shadow wrap catches them too, but I like this one to get that bait down a little bit more when the water's as cold as it is right now. So that's my 6 favorite jerk baits for fishing in spring of the year. Whenever I can, I'll throw them on a bait caster. Sometimes the lighter ones you have to use a spinning rod or maybe BFS. I like to use lighter lines. Usually I'm throwing these on 8-pound tests so I can get them down a little bit more, and that's fluorocarbon leader on probably a 20-pound test to a 10-pound test braided main line. And I'm using at least 2 rod lengths of leaders so that the fish don't see that braided main line. You know, the whole game about jerkbait fishing is figuring out the cadence that the fish want in a particular day, and that's the cadence of the twitches that you give your rod tip. Some of these baits, you get them down and you just have to let them sit down there, and then you just twitch, and hold it. And when the water's cold, you usually want to have longer pauses between those twitches. But the jerkbait is a fun bait. You do a few twitches, you twitch again, and all of a sudden the fish is on. Set the hook, and they catch big fish too. That's the other real nice thing about jerkbaits. Well, those are my favorite 6. Would love to know what your top 6 are. So please comment in the comments under the video. Let me know what your favorites are. Would love to share that back and forth with the viewers. That way we all get to understand what works and what might not work so well. And if you want to see a video about a special rigging technique that I like to throw in wood, take a look at this one right here. Until next time, be safe out there. If you haven't done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Hope to see you on the water, and as always, may God bless your fishing endeavors.